How's it going, guys? It's Nathan from Nathan's DIY Garage, and today I'm going to show you how to install a driver door handle inner frame on a BMW X5. Okay, so here we are. This is an E53 X5. My mom drives this thing to work every day, and got her this thing about a year ago. Been doing pretty good, not a lot of problems with it, but she's kind of a shorter lady, and she always has problems opening the front door handle, and she always is grabbing it like this and trying to pull out. Well, these don't like that. What they want you to do with these is grab it like this and pull basically up, and it pops real easy. The plastic handle on the outside goes into aluminum frame on the inside of the door, and it snaps that. So once it snaps it and cracks it, when you pick up on the handle, it's out of range and it actually won't open the door. It won't pull the latch anymore. So here we have the inner frame. This is from eBay. It's like 25 bucks. And what's happened here is actually busted it up here. And they're not too bad to put in. They're by no means fun to put in, but we're going to show you how to do that today. Okay, so first thing you have to do, you need a straight slot screwdriver or a small pry bar. We're going to be removing the wood trim. You need a T20 Torx bit. You see I used these with a little impact. You could use a T20 screwdriver or whatever you want to do here. But we're going to go ahead and get the door panel off. So to do that, to start with, we're going to remove the trim. That's nice. Alright, we're going to remove the trim. Use a screwdriver. We're going to get in there very gently, the very corner, and push it up until you get your finger in it, and then we're gonna pull and work, and it's gonna slide out of the end, and then that's gonna reveal the T20 right here, that you're gonna pull out like that. Put him off to the side. There's also another one right here by the door handle. You may not have to take that one out. I can't remember. We'll go and take it out anyway. It's so easy. And then there's also another one right here. And this is supposed to have an SRS button over the top of it. This car, it's missing. We're going to go ahead and pull this guy here off. Pull him out. And then down here on the bottom, yeah, I guess you can see it. Right here, there's a little plastic cap. This cap's already gone. I'm gonna go ahead and pull this out. And that's all the screws that hold the panel on. There's only 4 of them. So what we're gonna do at this point in time, we're gonna grab the panel at the top. We're gonna pull it back towards us. And we're gonna pull it out of the top first. Okay, so at that point in time, work around. You might have to use a pry bar, depends on how strong your fingers are. And we're going to want to lift up. Once it's out. Okay, you lift up, and up here at the top, and it hooks the door lock. And on the back of here, it has a little thing for the door handle, and it just pops out. Like that. It looks like that. It's kind of tricky to get in the back of the handle, so you need to take that off. You need to go ahead and unplug. There's 3 plugs in that plug the window switch in, and the last plug is a slide. I'll show you here in just a second so you know. And then the very last, you unplug the light on the bottom. We'll go ahead and pop it out and do that. So what you're going to end up with is these 3 plugs that go into the window switch, and these have the little bells. You just flip on them, They're pretty easy. The very last one has a little slide. He slides out. You stick a screwdriver in there and he slides out. Also has a little light that goes in the handle. That's simple enough. And then the little light on the bottom of the door panel, it just pops in. It just has a little deal. You just pull it out and you can just unplug the plug out of the bottom of the light. So overall, pretty easy. At this point in time, we need to take the airbag off. Now, for you guys that do not have a scanner, you're going to want it to probably unhook the battery at this point. If you don't, what's going to happen, you unplug this airbag, it's actually going to set the airbag light off in the dash, and it's not going to reset unless you have the proper scanner. Okay, so we're going to go and pull the airbag off. We have a 10mm on our little impact. There's 3 bolts in the airbag. Go ahead and take those out. Make sure you don't fall. And go ahead, and the plug on the back just wiggles and comes right off like that. It's real easy. It goes back on the same way, it just snaps on. Okay, so at this point in time, I just pulled this thing apart of the day. Had to check the handle and make sure it's broken. So this is already loose. You're going to peel this stuff back. Careful not to touch the black sticky stuff on it. You just don't peel it down like that. Just kind of get it out of the way. We actually might fold it back on itself, so we're not touching it. At that point in time, you can access the door handle up in here like that. Okay, so once you're that far, you're gonna come over to the outside. You're gonna grab this guy here and wiggle it, and you're just gonna pull that off, right? So at that point in time, I remember exactly how this was. There's a little bolt in there, an 8. We're going to go inside here. We should be able to get to the bolts. That takes the outside handle off, which you are going to have to do. And try to remember the sequence of this really quick. Okay, so what we're going to do at this point, we're going to take an 8mm wrench. We're going to go ahead and pull this guy here out. And once we pull, we'll do it one-handed or not. Once we pull the handle out, it's going to release it. And at that point in time, I'll be able to pull the handle out, and it'll unhook out of the back of it, and there's going to be a bolt back here behind this. Okay, so here we are. We just went and pulled the bolt out. As you can see right here, it's removed. Now we're just going to push the front of the handle down, and it's going to release that guy. It's like that. Switch hands here and make sure it gets all the way out. All the way out like that. And I think it comes back to towards the side of the latch. Okay, so if you come to the inside, you can see it. It's right there. And if you zoom in, you can see you have to turn the handle a little bit. I think it's down or up, I can't remember. It's really difficult to do with one hand because you got to hold it away from that guy. At any rate, you're gonna have to tilt it here. There we go. Tilt it down, and it should easily, without any force, easily come out. And you can see it's kind of has like a cam deal where it slides in and has 2 little hooks on the end of it. There we go. So at this point in time, we go ahead and pull off the cover, and that reveals the Phillips screw. Okay, so once you've pulled this off, took the screw out, pulled that off, you're going to go around and you're going to want to go ahead and pop the plastic cap out of this, and then down in here, you can see it or not, there is a screw. You can barely see it. It's right there, and it's actually a little Allen. I don't have the Allen bit that's long enough to do that. We're going to use this Torx. That bolt's not real tight. It goes in here like this and gets it, and then we'll use a little impact and just take it out. These usually aren't very tight. Usually you get them out with just an Allen wrench will work fine too. And what that's going to do, that's going to release this side. We're just going to get her impact here. All right, let's go ahead and remove this. Spin that around. Be careful not to drop it down the door. because if you do, it may not fall all the way down to the bottom of the door. It might be extremely hard to get it out, and there it is. And a lot of times what I'll do when I put these back in, I have a little magnet that's extendable. I'll put it on the tip of there, I'll put it in there. If it'll fit, you have to have one small enough, or you could also just kind of guide it in with your finger like that and put it back in. But remember, if you drop it, it might sit on top of this lock and may not fall all the way down to the bottom. You have a real difficult time finding it or getting it back out. And usually the new handles will come with the new screw for each side, but you know, if you drop your old one and it doesn't, then you're in trouble. Okay, so at this point in time, this piece here should pull out. You just wiggle it and it slides out like that, the whole lock cylinder and everything. Okay, and at that point in time, make sure you can see here, you'll go ahead and gently pull this guy here out. Be careful not to rip him or anything like that. And now once that's out, you're ready to go inside the door and remove the handle itself. Remove the handle itself, you just go in here like this, and you ever so gently fish it out. Now you're still gonna be hooked up back here to this cable, so it's gonna take a little bit of finessing to actually get it out of here. It's gonna want to bind up on this lock and everything else. So we can't get it fished past real quick. It doesn't help the handle's all broke, so it's even harder to get it out. So what we're gonna do here to make this a little bit easier, if you can see back up in there, let me see if I can't turn the light on here for you. You can see back up in there, there is the cable right here, which goes down to a little ball socket. And you're gonna wanna pull this white part out. You slip it out of the holder, it just slides out. You're gonna wanna take your fingers down there and pop that ball socket off. That's gonna free up the cable. That's gonna give you some more room to fish this thing out of there. So once I pop that ball socket off of there and pop the holder out, then it'll give you enough clearance to fish it out. So here's the whole handle. Let me see if you can see where it's broken up here at the top. You can see where it's supposed to go over the shaft, and it's sheared it out so it won't stay in there. So when you open the door, it does that and it won't stay in there, and it doesn't actually pull hard enough to actuate the handle anymore. So what you're going to want to do, you're going to want to take the new screws out, which I just did. You're going to want to put this guy up there against there, which is going to be relation to where it's going to bolt in at. You're going to want to drop it in, and you're going to be doing the cable very last. You're not going to be doing the cable first. You're going to drop it in like this. It's going to take a little bit. You got to fish it in there, make sure it clears past the lock cylinder. It's kind of a pain in the butt. And once you just kind of halfway stuck it in there, you're going to come around to the front of the door, reach your hand around the back side. You're going to try to line up this guy here, and it's going to fight you. It's going to be a pain in the butt, but it should slip back in there. I'm getting closer. You're going to put it against the face and try to push it up, but there's a whole bunch of crap holding you from keeping you from getting in there, right? Here, just like that. And you're going to want to go ahead and put the Phillips screw in and just barely start it, thread it in where it won't fall out. Then you're going to want to come over here to the other side, and you're going to want to start, so I get the tripod to actually stay there without falling over. You're going to want to go ahead and start this guy in there. And you're gonna try to make sure it's lined up, which it is right now. And like I said before, ever so gently, you want to take one finger, try to guide it in there, just like that. And then once you have that sticking out of there, you're going to do a couple things here. You're going to go ahead and take your rubber piece and you're going to go back in and clip him back in and make sure he seats well, make sure it sits flat, because if you don't, this piece will have an effect on how your door handle actually sits in the car. Make sure he's down on all the sides. We're gonna go back in with your lock cylinder, and this has a little stub. We need to make sure that goes into the interior piece. There's like a little star thing in there, and it might be kind of pain in the butt. Okay, so what I went in and did here, I went ahead and snugged this screw up, and what that allowed me to do, that holds the handle a lot more straight, and you just slide this in there and then it goes right in, no problem at all. So let's go ahead and put the handle itself back on and hook the cable back up. Okay, so let's start off here by, we'll tighten this up the rest of the way. Don't go crazy with it. We're gonna go ahead and put this guy back in there. He hooks into the back and he should snap in there and lay really flat. Make sure all these rubber pieces always lay flat. So at this point in time, we're going to look in the hole. We're going to see our relation to the handle. We're going to pop that in without hitting the paint on the vehicle. We're going to swivel the handle up and make sure that's in, because if not, it'll snap your handle and ruin it. And this is where it gets difficult, because this is not easy to put in without messing it up. Let me go on the back here. I'm going to push in on the handle a little bit so it doesn't push back. We're just going to try to push in and swivel it up, but you don't want to snap it in half. So what I've done here, I've went into the back. I just took the handle on my screwdriver, and you can see right there is where your deal goes into. You gotta make sure it's turned right. I took the handle of this and held that so I could push in on the handle and get the seat down all the way. So now at this point in time, we're gonna go ahead and rotate and clip you back in the stand here. We're gonna rotate this guy up like that. We're going to push them in there, and I'm going to hold that lever back a little bit. We're going to try to work it in that slot. That should go in. I don't understand why. You see how much I'm sweating? I'm sweating all over everything. And today it's about 95 and humidity is crazy. It's almost like you're taking a shower when you're outside. So, okay, there we go. We're gonna go back around the back and we're gonna make sure that this is seated all the way in. You want to look at that guy up here, make sure he's seated all the way in, which he is. If you strip that out, you have to buy a new handle. So at this point in time, we have the Phillips screw under the handle is tight, all the rubber's back in, the screw in here is tight, and I think all we have to do now is push this guy back on. Like that. And that's all done on the outside. We're going to come over to the inside and we're going to push the cable back in the holder. Kind of hard to see in there, but but that white cable holder needs to be snapped in. I'm gonna have to get something else to push it in there with. Okay guys, so here's what the struggle is, or was. This guy here, let's see if I could actually. This guy here has 3 little rings on it. That has to sit in the holder in the very top ring, right? So, and then you have to snap the ball cap on the little socket. So in here, it's just a pain in the butt. But I end up getting it with a pair of long needle nose. You can see back here it's snapped in and the ball socket's on. So we're finished with that. I think we'll go ahead and tuck these wires up before we put any of the handles back on, and we're going to make sure that this thing will actually close and function. It should be okay without the interior handle. Move everything in the car back away from the door so it's going to close. This don't go to this. I found this in the gravel disc now, so don't freak out if you don't have that. And let's see what we got here. Okay, and easily you pull up on it and it comes right open. Works good. All right, so at this point in time, we'll go ahead and just pop the door panel back on. I probably don't have to video that for you guys. It's pretty self-explanatory. You can see when I very first did it, which I need to wash my hands too. If your hands are dirty and it's tan interior or light gray, don't be touching the stuff. You're going to get it dirty and it's hard to clean. So when you go back up in here, what you're going to have to do, you're going to have to hold the panel up. You're going to have to put this in first, and this just hooks in the back of the handle, right? Make sure this stuff's all stuck back in there. Don't forget to put your airbag in, and you're going to want to hook it over this second, and then you're going to want to pop the top in first. You're going to want to hit down, and you're going to want to lock these tabs into the door panel. They lock in right here, right? So the top has to lock in first, then you go down, and of course these little holes, they have the panel snaps on them right here, and you line those up and you snap it in, you put the screws back in, you're finished. Plug your switch back in. The switch on these X5s come out very easily. And you reach in the back and you basically just push up on it and it pops out. So you could actually pull the wires up through the hole when the panel's on, and then after the panel's on you can put your switch in.